I'm Chronix from the most extreme wrestling. This is your Smackdown review for June 1st, 2012 from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Alright, so Sheamus, the World Heavyweight Champion, comes down to the ring and he's talking about Del Rio. He says that Del Rio thinks that he's so special, you know, he's got all this money and he's better than everybody because he has money, blah, 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 talking about money and how much better he thinks of himself because he's higher up in the chain or whatever. Alright, so I have to ask the question about this, because Sheamus just paid $500,000 in fines for touching an official or hitting a referee, knocking him out or whatever. So he was able to afford $500,000 fine. Why would he? I don't know. It just seems like he shouldn't be talking about people with money. But anyways, I'm sure that we are supposed to forget about this. And he says, you know what money can't buy though? It can't buy the World Heavyweight Championship. And once again, Sheamus, maybe you should go to WWEshop.com because you can pick up your own World Heavyweight Championship from $20 to $290. So, actually, money can buy championships. Anyways, Otunga comes down to the ring and he's got some footage. Footage of Sheamus knocking over Johnny Ace on Raw or whatever. So he wants him to apologize. He doesn't ask him to apologize. He orders him to apologize. And Sheamus says, arse. Otunga responds by saying, you are the whitest, but not the brightest. And I have to say, that sounds pretty racist, I gotta say. And Del Rio, he comes down to the ring. What are you doing?
I just want to see something. I won't get in the shot, don't worry.
Are you sure?
Yeah, see?
You're dangerously close to being in the shot.
I'm not in the shot.
Anyways. Okay, so Del Rio...
I'm in the shot now!
Yeah. Del Rio comes down, says you were a peasant and a hooligan. Yeah, he's making fun of him for not having any money. And see, this is the thing. Sheamus has a gigantic gold thing around his waist, and I'm sure he could go to one of those gold stores that you go and gold for money or whatever those things are called.
Yeah.
Cash for gold, yeah. He could get some. He could get some cash, and I mean, maybe he just doesn't have any money anymore because the $500,000 thing. What are you doing?
I'm getting this back.
Anyway, okay.
If you hadn't said something, no one would ever know.
Well, they would have heard the giant swishing sound.
That swishing sound. You mean that swishing sound?
They can hear her. Just because they can't see, they can still hear you. You're not invisible. Anyways, where was I? He says, Sheamus, I'm sorry, something. What? He says, I'm sorry for... Oh, he says, I'm sorry for something. And then, out of nowhere, surprise kick to Otunga. And that is the brogue kick. But the announcers continue to call it, like what I thought I heard, bro kick. But it's brogue. I just didn't know, apparently. And the announcers don't know it either. Alright, so Sin Cara returns. Again. But this time, he's wearing red. But he's still a good guy. And notice that they took away the trampoline at the beginning of his entrance where he jumps up and gets in the ring. Well, now he slides in the ring, jumps off the ropes, and then does his little senton roll thing. So that's changed. But the mood lighting of the match is still the same. So it's still blue, even though he's wearing red. I didn't really understand that, but everything else with his entrance and his videos and everything is still blue. But his ring attire is red. And then the pre-promos of him coming back, he was still wearing the blue gear. But I guess those details don't matter. He's facing Heath Slater in his return match. And, of course, he puts Heath Slater down and wins the match. Sin Cara wins with his re-debut. Hard-fought win, I guess. But it was a typical Sin Cara match. So, I mean, if you've seen one of them, I'm sure you've seen them all. Alright, Damien Sandow is going to face Ezekiel Jackson. Once again, Damien is like, yeah, I don't really want to wrestle you because this is stupid, you know, doing his heel tactics, which I liked, but Ezekiel Jackson brings him back into the ring as he's trying to leave, starts beating the crap out of him, but Sandow makes pretty short work of him, and he gets the victory. Damien Sandow wins another match. Alright, so backstage, Del Rio and Ricardo Rodriguez are talking together. Dolph Ziggler comes into the mix and says that he wants to be the guy who gets to face Sheamus tonight. I probably should have told you, but earlier in the promo, earlier in the night, they were saying that Del Rio gets to choose the opponent for Sheamus tonight. I don't know why, but when I was writing the notes, I didn't find that important, but I should have realized when I got to this part that it was important, and then I should have talked about it, but I didn't, so oops about that. Alright, so Dolph Ziggler wants to be that guy, and Del Rio thinks that his mic skills apparently are good enough, and he chooses him to be the guy who faces Sheamus tonight. Dolph Ziggler is supposed to soften him up for their match at the pay-per-view coming up in like 2 weeks, I believe. I could be confused, because obviously I completely forgot to write that part down. Anyways, two guys from Alabama are facing Ryback. They cut a horrible promo, and I have to wonder, like, I know they're indie guys and everything, but do they, like, make their promos worse on purpose? I could only imagine, because nobody has that horrible of mic skills and thinks that they're good and is completely confident while doing it. I'm just saying. Alright, so, I mean, as you can suspect, holy crap, I don't know what's wrong with my mic skills, but Ryback beats the living crap out of these guys. These guys weigh like 120 pounds, and I like this line that Booker T says. Out of nowhere, he says, did you get that license plate? And I mean, it was after a clothesline, and I sat there trying to think, what is he talking about? Did I miss a joke or something? Did you get the license plate? So finally, 30 seconds later, he says, because that was a hit and run. Oh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. Maybe he should have said the other part first or something? But Booker T, he always has one of those lines every single week. It's just crazy. So, Ryback, he wins. The match was hilarious. I actually really liked this match. It was just crazy. Ryback wins, and Ryback screams, feed me more, feed me more. Alright. Excuse me, it breaks out. Here comes Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler says, tonight I'm going to beat the World Heavyweight Champion. And then there was like an awkward, abrupt pause, and then he gets in the ring. And I'm just like, what is up with that? It would just seem so random. But, whatever. It worked. But there was just kind of an awkward silence after it. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. But Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus, that's happening right now. Dolph, he comes so close to winning. This match lasted a long time. I was very glad to see that Dolph Ziggler didn't get squished. Okay, here's the thing. This is what I'm getting kind of confused. Dolph Ziggler is not officially a main event player, right? He just kind of got thrusted into this role. I mean, sure, he's had some kind of matches before, but he's not an official main event player. He's not in the mix all the time, right? Okay. But Daniel Bryan and Sheamus are. Well, yeah, they're former World Heavyweight Champions, but so is Dolph Ziggler. I know that was a while back, but Dolph Ziggler's been doing tag teams. Like, to me, I've accepted Dolph Ziggler as a main event player, and I think a lot of other people are, judging by the reaction of the people in this match. I just hope that he can continue to be on that level. I'm sure that most people have the same sentiments, because Dolph Ziggler is awesome. Anyways, Swagger comes down and tries to help, but because he tried to help and because he's a big, dumb, bumbling doofus, he gets in the way and causes a brogue kick, and Dolph Ziggler gets pinned. Sad, sad day. Alright, so Sheamus wins. Next we get a Punk promo, and I was listening intently as he holds his giant spinner belt, and he says Kane has the names of the Big Red Machine and the Devil's favorite demon. And I was thinking, oh, where's he going with this, you know? And he's like, and I have, and I was like, yeah, what do you have that's better than those names? Best in the world. Yeah, that's way more creative. I mean, I'm telling you. Punk, you're a genius. Alright, so now that promo is over, Titus O'Neil and Darren Young are having a match with Santino, a tag team match with Santino and Zack Ryder. So Zack Ryder gets on television, and the United States Champion is in a tag team match. Cats, Teddy.
I don't know what they do.
Why don't you bring Teddy over here?
Teddy,
He's being really bad.
What are you doing?
And Teddy's supposed to be in the Smackdown reviews,
Teddy,
and he hasn't been
Teddy,
yet.
no, Teddy, no, Teddy,
Teddy!
no, Teddy, no,
Oh my gosh. Teddy,
no.
bring him over here.
Teddy, come here. Look, sit here and be on the Smackdown review because you just knocked like 5 things over.
Okay. You're a bad cat. Now, okay, now Santino gets a roll-up win, which I'm just like, What? It was kind of out of nowhere, I thought. But I did like Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, I gotta say. Kind of weird. It was cool to see Zack Ryder. I mean, it seems like he's been gone forever. I don't know. I know he had a pay-per-view match and everything, but I just don't see him anymore. It's just crazy. Anyways, I'm sure a lot of people don't miss him. But anyways, after this match, here comes the Big Show to rain on the parade. He starts beating the crap with the post-match beatdown, and he gets to the bottom steps and body slams poor old Zack Ryder onto those steps.
Oh, not again. Poor Zack.
Yeah, he didn't get a broken back, though. Not that we know of, unless it's on WWE.com. Now, then he goes after Santino Marella and sets on him, and then does a WMD. Now, it was very effective, I must say this beatdown, and Big Show did look like a big, scary guy that you wouldn't want to mess with and was, very dangerous or whatever. So, I did like that. Now, Daniel Bryan confronts AJ backstage. She's wearing all of CM Punk's gear, and Bryan starts to talk to AJ and say, you know that Punk, he really doesn't care about you and everything. And I thought this was interesting, because now they're not together, right? And he's like warning her and stuff, and he's being 10 times nicer to her than he was when they were together.
Well, that's because she's not his property anymore.
Oh, yeah. But she is much, much sadder that he said that. Before he would yell at her and she wouldn't really react, really. She would just leave. He would be like, woman, why don't you get out of the ring? Because you don't deserve to be here, even though you're a great women's wrestler. And she would just be like, okay. But now she's really upset because he warned her about Punk not caring about her or whatever. Storyline, whatever. I don't care. Now, Christian is on commentary because Cody Rhodes, the former Intercontinental Champion, versus Tyson Kidd. Surprised to see Tyson Kidd having a match, period. I thought he got released. I mean, not really, but it seems like he did. I mean, he's been gone forever. Now, they have a pretty interesting match, but it is very, very short. Crossroads, Cody Rhodes wins. Then Christian shows off his newly won Intercontinental Championship to the former champion, Cody, so it was a nice little match there. Now we have the main event. It is the championship match. The WWE Championship is on the line. CM Punk, the champion, versus Kane, the challenger. And I was actually very interested to see this match because, one, it's a WWE Championship match, and it's on SmackDown, and it's with Kane. So I was really interested to see because it's kind of, Kane and Punk are so different and everything. Anyways, AJ comes down some point in the match and she's just kind of watching on. The match was pretty boring, I have to say. I was kind of underwhelmed up until the point that Daniel Bryan comes running down. He runs down, tries to interrupt CM Punk's version of the elbow drop. And then crossbody by Punk to Daniel Bryan on the outside, and he says, no, you're not going to interrupt me or whatever. And then the match started picking up, and it became very interesting to me. But then, right about the point I thought it was the most interesting, here comes Daniel Bryan. He takes down Kane and Punk with a drop kick, but, 1 foot on one guy, 1 foot on the other guy. I guess he perfectly balances it where they all bounce off, even though Kane and Punk weigh about 100 pounds difference, or at least kayfabe-wise. Disqualification, Punk and Bryan start fighting, then there's a double-handed chokeslam by Kane, there's a fire, there's a boom, but then Johnny Ace comes down right at the point where I thought SmackDown was going to go off the air in his own hover-round and his people power thing, and he says now the match at the pay-per-view is going to be Punk, Kane, and Daniel Bryan in a triple threat match, so they're not going to let CM Punk and Daniel Bryan have another one-on-one match by themselves. Well, I guess that'll probably make a lot of people mad now that Kane is interjected into the mix, but I do think that at least it'll make it a little bit interesting because now, I'm not saying the match wouldn't have been interesting before, but it's interesting having Kane in there because he's such a big, powerful monster, and then you have the two smaller guys in the match. But, I mean, whatever. I actually did like SmackDown. It actually was much funner to review than it was to actually watch it because of some of the craziness that was happening. But that was SmackDown. I will see you guys very soon.